President-elect Joe Biden will formally announce retired General Lloyd Austin to head the Pentagon in a little over an hour. In an op-ed in The Atlantic titled "Why I Chose Lloyd Austin as Secretary of Defense," Biden writes, "He's a true and tested soldier and leader. I've spent countless hours with him in the field and in the White House Situation Room. I've sought his advice, seen his command, and admired his calm and his character. He's the definition of a patriot." The four-star Army general would be the first black defense secretary, but he requires a congressional waiver to serve because he retired from active duty less than 7 years ago. In 2017, 17 Democratic senators voted against providing such a waiver to retired General James Mattis, including Senator Tammy Duckworth, an Iraq War veteran and a Purple Heart recipient. Democratic Senator Tammy Duckworth, who serves on the Armed Services Committee, joins me now. Senator, thank you very much for being with us. Well, first of all, have you decided whether or not you will support a waiver for General Austin?
I will support General Austin, but I will not support the waiver.
Well, without the waiver, how would he be able to serve?
Well, he would not be able to, but I suspect that that the waiver will pass. I will not vote for the waiver. I believe very strongly that there need to be civilian control, civilian oversight of the military, and by reducing the wait times from 10 years to 7 years, we did that in 2007 without any input, and now again for a second Secretary of Defense in a row to request another waiver. I just can't support that on principle. I will tell you, though, that General Austin is an excellent officer, well-tested, very capable of leading the Department of Defense, and I think he will be an excellent Secretary of Defense, but on principle, I cannot vote for the waiver.
From your conversations with colleagues, do you think he will be confirmed?
I do think he will be confirmed, yes. I think that there is enough folks who will vote for the waiver that he will get confirmed, unless something happens in committee new and that we don't know about. But I expect that the process will be very smooth, and I've actually offered to help him go through that process myself, because I do think he is an excellent officer.
What are your concerns then about if you have concerns about civilian control of the Pentagon, then why would you help him get confirmed? I mean, it does seem to be a disconnect there, because a lot of people admire his service, but a lot of people also are saying, certainly some prominent people are saying, that what the Pentagon needs now is someone to take a deeper dive on policy, and that essentially you'd be getting two chairmen of the Joint Chiefs by having him there. The same perspective, if you will.
Right. I would disagree with that assessment. I think that he would be very much able to do the deep dive on policy issues. My concern is it's a principle. You know, I spent 23 years in the Army to preserve and protect and defend our Constitution. And the system is set up that there should be civilian control of the military. It is important in our system of government that there's civilian oversight, civilian leadership over the military. And what has happened with these waivers is that we're slowly shifting towards a point where you could actually have military officers leave active duty and go on and become defense secretaries. That's not appropriate. That's only appropriate in places where there are military juntas, and America is not one of those nations. Now, I do suspect that the waiver will pass. I do think that General Austin is very capable of becoming a defense secretary. But for me, on principle, I can't vote on this waiver. I did not vote for the waiver with General Mattis. This principle is bigger than any single individual, and I'm going to stick by it.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.